Hello, everyone. I see we have two of you guys here. Can you hear me? Is the first question I have for everyone today. If you cannot, let me know soon so that I can change that. As you can see, our setup is a little bit simpler today than the past couple weeks. It's just me and my webcam here. Because yeah, and also why we were having some technical difficulties. So sorry for the couple minute delay um, in getting started here. I had a lot of things planned for us last night, and then we had to do a quick change of plans, and so today will be a little bit simpler, um, but yeah, it'll still be a lot of fun. So again, if you can hear me, let me know so that I know. Um, if you can't hear me, let me know that too. So let's get started here today. How is everyone's week going? Yeah, how's all that going? How is anybody doing anything fun for Easter? I think my family and I are planning on getting together tomorrow, and or no, not tomorrow, Sunday, and just doing like something simple with just us as an immediate family. So yes, you guys might be wondering, where is Jeff? And that's part of the reason why we had to postpone last night's stream to today. So last night, like 15 minutes before we were supposed to be um, doing the live stream, Jeff got suddenly very sick, and yeah, it was pretty bad. He was just in a lot of pain to the point of feeling like he was going to pass out, and so we weren't sure, did I need to take him to urgent care or not? And so we had to cancel last night. And he started feeling a little bit better last night, and then around 5 this morning was in a lot of pain again. And so we did end up taking him into the ER this morning for him to get checked out. And so we're still waiting on some results there, but it's looking like food poisoning, most likely. So if you want to keep praying for Jeff, he would greatly appreciate that. Part of the reason why things are much simpler today is because normally he does all the setting up with the fancy cameras and being able to show slides. And so there were some videos that I wanted to show you guys today, but I cannot. And so, bummer. But next week I'll show them to you guys. So today, my co-host is Charmin. They will be yeah, co-hosting with me today instead of Jeff. And so yeah, I've never done one of these by myself before, so it's a little weird. I feel like I'm kind of talking to myself here. So yeah, if you are there, say hello in the chat so I know. And yeah, so let's get started. The game that I had planned for today involved being able to show you slides off of my computer. And since I don't know how to do that, Jeff does, we are going to skip the game today, unfortunately. But we'll get right into announcements for us. So announcements, first of all, keep following us on Facebook, or not on Facebook, you guys don't have Facebook, on Instagram. And yeah, some of you guys have seen the posts that I've been posting every day this week with our Balanced Life theme. I've loved seeing the comments on there. So thank you for that. And hopefully you guys are inspired and encouraged. I will be posting the last video from our series some point today. And next week, I'm doing something fun. So on the internet, I've seen some interesting masks that people have been wearing. I haven't seen any in the Oak Creek area, but the internet has had some pictures of some people wearing some pretty interesting defense mechanisms against getting sick. And they've made me laugh. So we're doing a challenge on Instagram this next week. It's called the Makeshift Mask Challenge. And so I'm challenging you to come up with the funniest or most creative mask and post a picture of it on Instagram, hashtag CL Makeshift Mask Challenge. And I will be picking a winner at the end of the week, whoever I think is the funniest or the most creative, and I will send you a virtual $5 gift card. It's not really a makeshift mask, but it is a mask that I found around my house. Is this one? This one, though, would not be very effective for not getting sick because it literally doesn't cover up the one thing that you're supposed to get sick. So, kind of funny. Um, this is usually paired with a ventilator that goes in that whole part there for when you're doing spraying paint. I guess. I don't know. I found it in our paint stuff. So, anyways, yes, send me a picture on Instagram, post on Instagram, your makeshift mask, and I will be rewarding someone with a $5 gift card at the end of the week. So, what is my next announcement here? All right, we do not have a Zoom call game night this week, just with Easter and everything. Enjoy Easter with your family, and we'll probably do one next weekend instead. Digital snack chats are always available, hanging out with us in any way, shape, or form that you enjoy doing. So, whether that's over FaceTime or over Google Hangouts, Zoom, whatever you use. I just started using this app called House Party, which is kind of like a video call app where you can play games on it, like Heads Up, and I think there's a trivia game and some things like that. So I have started using that with a couple friends of mine. And so if you have a house party, hey, how's it going, Sage? Glad to see you on here. Yeah, if you have a house party account, we should find each other so that we can play trivia or whatever on there, or Heads Up or anything else fun. So cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, last week it was super fun. Jeff and I got to drop off the goodie bags of cookies for I think 18 of you guys. We drove 46 miles. Isn't that crazy? And got to drop those off for all you guys. So that was a ton of fun. And so we have 13 more that we are dropping off tomorrow. And if you are like, oh shoot, I had no idea this was going on, and I really wish that I knew this was going on, and I want some cookies, let me know. I have a few more extra bags that have not been claimed yet. So definitely let me know if you would like some cookies, and I would love to give you some. Send me your address, but like private message, not over chat. Yes. Okay, cool. So, let's see here. Can you guys, Sage, I'm assuming you can hear me. Just wanted to make sure make sure that this is working because my laptop microphone is no bueno at all. So we are going to get right into our kind of lesson for this week. And so I titled this week's lesson Separation Lifted, which sounds kind of vague or whatever, but like I've just been kind of thinking about how right now, with the way things are, we're feeling really separated from everyone. We're separated from our loved ones, whether it's our grandparents that maybe we would see more regularly, or from other friends or family members. We're separated from our normal routine. What used to be places that we would go normally, we are no longer allowed to go to or no longer able to go to. And we're separated from things that we were looking forward to. So things that we thought were, given that were going to happen, prom or graduations, or things like that, are now separated from us. Where it's in the distance, it's cut off. We're cut off from it. And so this can often lead to feelings of loneliness and depression, which is why we talked about those the last 2 weeks. When we discussed loneliness 2 weeks ago, we discussed about how you guys are never truly alone because God is always with us. And last week, when we talked about depression, we talked about how God offers us hope and can redeem even the darkest valleys that we find ourselves in. So tonight, we're talking about this idea of a separation being lifted, and more specifically about how nothing can separate us from God's love. So I want to start with a question for you guys, and that is, what are you looking forward to the most when the quarantine is lifted? Like, is there anything that you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't wait to do blank again. Um, I feel like it's kind of interesting. Like the longer that this quarantine has gone on, um, like more and more things are getting taken away, right? So like I just saw yesterday about how the state parks, which were free to the public, are now closed. So people who were going out and enjoying being at the state parks, apparently now they're closed um, because the fact that people were trashing it, which is like great. So yet another thing that we can't do while we're in quarantine, and another thing to look forward to once the quarantine is lifted. I know for myself, I'm really looking forward to getting to see family and friends again that I haven't been able to see in a long time. I haven't seen my grandma in a while, and normally we would have like family dinners with her. I haven't seen my best friend in like almost 2 months. Um, and so, yeah, looking forward to seeing people again. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you guys at Campus Life again. I realized this week that it has been exactly 1 month since the last time I saw you guys, which like sucks a lot, and I miss you guys. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to you guys to seeing you again in person. Like I've seen some of you guys through a video chat, but seeing you guys in person will be way better. And I'm also looking forward to being able to sit at a sit down restaurant. So it's been a while since like we've gotten to do that, and it's kind of crazy to me just seeing how long drive-through lines are right now. Like I was just driving past a Starbucks this morning when we were on our way back from the ER, and like literally I'd say there's probably like 15 cars in line at this Starbucks waiting to get their caramel macchiato or whatever. Pretty crazy. I did not know that people needed their coffee that much during a quarantine, but apparently people do. But I'm excited to be able to go inside of restaurants again. So if there's something that you are looking forward to after this quarantine is lifted, be sure to put that in the chat. I'd love to hear what that is. So going off of that kind of idea of like being in this quarantine and looking forward to what it's going to be like when we're no longer going to have this quarantine anymore. Um, I want to look backwards in time to before Jesus. Mankind was separated from God because of a sin problem. So God is a holy God, and He's without sin, which means that He can't be in the presence of sin. And so it's kind of like the sun. Like the sun is just so great and so hot that if anything that's not the sun goes close to it, it's going to like burst into flames and be destroyed because it's just like it just the sun consumes and everything. And the sun is awesome because it provides light, but it also is something that we can't like go hug the sun, right? Because that would destroy us. And so, in the same sense, God is holy and can't be in the presence of sin. And unfortunately, we have sin. Every single person that's born. And it's pretty like you don't have to teach a 2-year-old not to do something naughty. They just know how to do it instinctively. You have to teach them how to not be naughty. And Adam, like this is all because of Adam. He once was able to walk with God in the garden, like as if they were best buds, just going for a walk together, talking about all the things in life. And Adam made a choice, and he decided to eat the apple that God specifically asked him or told him not to, right? And so Adam sinned and brought sin into the world where there wasn't before. And so now all of a sudden there was this separation that was put down between God and mankind. But what did God do, right? Well, he gave them a temporary solution and a way for them to atone for their sin and to sort of be close to God or to sort of be close to his presence. And even though there was like this way to kind of be close to God's presence, there was still an element of separation. So what happened was that God had the Israelites build a temple. And in the middle of that temple, like there's like nice temple. In the middle of it was this room called the Most Holy Place, and it was separated from the rest of the temple by this gigantic, like 30-foot tall curtain by 30 feet wide. So pretty big room. So, yeah, God had this one place, and only the high priest could be in God's presence and go in there into the most holy place one day a year to atone for the sins of the Israelites. And so the Israelites could kind of be near to God's presence in the sense that, like, they were kind of near to the temple, but they couldn't like have face to face contact with God like Adam had at the beginning of creation. And so there's still, yeah, like this element of separation. And it's kind of similar to what is going on right now. So, right now in the world, we find ourselves in social distancing. And so we can kind of be around people when we're at the grocery store, but we're still supposed to stay 6 feet apart. And like, I get a dirty look if I accidentally get too close to someone. So I'm near people, but still separated. When I went to go pick up some prescriptions the other day, there's like this plastic barrier that separated me from the pharmacist. When I went to Aldi's, there was a plastic barrier separated me from the checkout person. So near, but still separated. And God never intended for the temple and atoning for sins that way to be the final solution. Instead, He wanted it to point to Jesus. And so we fast forward several thousand years to Jesus being born. He grows up to the age of 30 and spends 3 years doing ministry here on earth. But Jesus knew from the beginning what the plan was and what the reason was for him coming to earth. He knew that his death was going to be the final atonement for sin of all mankind, past, present, and future. So that wasn't something like him dying on the cross was no surprise to Jesus at all. He knew that that was the plan from the beginning. He knew that Judas was going to betray him from the beginning. And when Jesus was hanging on the cross, um, he and taking on the sin of the world onto his shoulders, Jesus experienced for the first time ever being separated from God his Father. Because remember, God couldn't be in the presence of sin. And so when Jesus took on the sin of the world, all of a sudden he had to be separated from God, and God had to um, turn his back on him, basically. And so this was like unbearable for Jesus. It wasn't, the pain of being crucified um, was not as unbearable as the fact that he was separated from his Father. And so that's why Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Um, and moments later, Jesus breathed his final breath, and something incredible happened back in town, because where Jesus was crucified was kind of on the outskirts of town, but back in the middle of Jerusalem in the temple, the 30-foot tall curtain of the most holy place was ripped in half, signifying that there was no longer a separation between God and mankind. And so, for the first time since Adam, that separation was lifted in the same way that someday I'm hoping this quarantine separation will be lifted from where we're no longer separated from one another. And so, right now, during this crazy quarantine, you are not alone. And that is because of what Jesus did on the cross. This weekend is Easter, where we are recognizing that what he did for us um, on the cross. And today, specifically, is Good Friday. And so, as we think about what Jesus did for us on the cross, he defeated the one thing that could separate us from God, and that was sin. I wanted to read for you what it says in Romans 8:31 through 39. It says, "What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? Who did he not spare? He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how did he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? Who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? It is God who justifies. Who then is the one who condemns? No one. Jesus Christ, who died, more than that, who was raised to life, is at the right hand of God, interceding for us. Who then shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword? No, in all of these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any power, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all of creation will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus our Lord. So I want to challenge you today to just think about, where are you at with God today? Um, do you still feel separated from God? Are you struggling to see where He is in your life? Are you trying to earn His favor through good works instead of trusting in what Jesus did on the cross? Are you having a hard time believing that you are worthy of God's love? If you're not sure where this Jesus person fits into your life, I encourage you to just start talking to Him. And like, talking to Him, talking to God is the same as talking to anyone else. It just might feel like you're talking to yourself, but God is there and He's listening. And so I encourage you to start doing that. Jesus took away the barrier between us and Him, but it's still our choice whether or not we want to have that relationship with Jesus. Just like as soon as this quarantine is lifted, it's still our choice on whether or not we want to go see family and friends. Um, and so Jesus will never force us. He gave us free will so that we can choose Him. And if you want to know how to start a relationship with Jesus, let us know. Reach out to one of us, and to Jeff or myself, although probably just me right now because Jeff is he's dying on the couch right now. And yeah, we would love to answer any questions that you have. I can start a Zoom call shortly for anyone who wants to jump on and talk, because I miss you guys terribly. And so I will put the member ID and the password, not the member, but the meeting ID and the password in the chat. And so if you want to talk about this, about anything else, I would love to talk with you guys. I'm available to talk with you guys. So if you need anything, I'm here for you. Like and subscribe, because that's what I think I'm supposed to do, or supposed to tell you guys to do on this YouTube channel, so that you get notifications every time we put a video out. And yeah, we will see you guys next week, Thursday, not Friday, around 7 o'clock again. And yeah, love you guys. We miss you, and I will put the information for the Zoom call in the chat shortly. So yeah, bye guys.